Hi everyone, Christy Macula here with Thriving on a Budget. Today we are making Mexican pizza and Spanish rice. My Spanish rice is already up on the blog. I'm just going to show you how I make that real quick, and then I'm going to get the Mexican pizzas up as soon as possible. So what I did is I just heated a little drizzle or medium drizzle of vegetable oil on the pan. It's on medium heat right now, and I went ahead and I already started browning it. So it is browned, not burnt. Browned. If you turn it on a higher heat, so this step is a little faster, just really watch it and really stir it the whole time because it will burn if you don't. So I have this on medium heat and I've just been browning it. It is browned and ready to go. Be patient on that step. And then I have 1 cup of rice in here. This is what I used. Long grain rice is what you want. That's in there. 1 cup. I'm now going to add 2 cups of water. So got 1 cup here. And our 2nd cup. And while I'm adding these, I'm going to keep it on that same heat. I'm not going to lower it yet. And then I have 1 can of an 8-ounce tomato sauce. You might want to start with 3/4 of the can and see what flavors you actually prefer. I use the whole can. And this is a good pan size. 1 size bigger is also good as well. You do not want smaller than this, otherwise the rice will pile up on itself and not cook evenly. And you don't want it too big because, again, the rice won't cook evenly. Cumin. I give it a good amount of cumin. And garlic powder. If you like garlic, give it a couple more shakes. If you don't do that much. Onion powder. And salt and pepper. I find that this rice, I like to have a lot more salt, so don't be afraid to salt it up. But if you are scared the first time, everyone can always salt their own rice after you serve it on the plates. And then some pepper. And I am generous on my seasonings, so again, everything is to taste. And then I'm just going to stir that up carefully. 1 size up is probably the most ideal pan size, but at the moment that's in the dishwasher. So this is what I'm using. I've used this before. Just have to be a little more careful. I'm still on medium heat. I want this to come to a boil for about 2 minutes, and then I'm going to reduce it to a simmer and cover it with the lid, and it will cook for 20 minutes, and then it will be ready to go. We'll just have to fluff it and serve. I'm just going to get that all mixed up so all the spices and the tomato sauce are mixed together. And I'm going to leave that there until I see it bubbling up for a few minutes. It's starting to bubble, so I'm going to let that go for about 2 minutes and then I'll cover it and reduce the heat. I have already started the Mexican pizzas. I actually had leftovers from when I made it last week, so I will post pictures of the actual cans and stuff that I use of the different products. But what I did, I went ahead and cooked the tortillas already to save us some time. I just used my baking sheet here. I sprayed it with some non-stick cooking spray. Sprayed it first, and then I laid down my 2 tortillas, and I put it in the oven at 375 for 5 minutes. Took that out, and then I did it again, because I have 4 here. So I did that twice, and move that out of the way. And I have those baked, both of them 5 minutes, so now I'm ready to assemble my Mexican pizzas. For the tortillas, I just used flour tortillas. And I'll move that out of the way. Refried beans, I used a can of refried beans. These are just the leftovers. And then for ground beef, I will tell you how I made that once these are popped in the oven cooking for 5 minutes. So I also diced up my tomatoes, my green onion, and I have my cheese ready to go. I am just going to start assembling the Mexican pizzas while I watch my rice. First thing you need is your refried beans. You're just going to put some on there and spread it around evenly as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect because no one's going to see the inside of this. It's going to be covered. So just spread it around. I'll give that rice 30 more seconds before I put it to simmer and cover it. Be a little gentle the first time you're making this on this step because your tortillas are a little crunchy because they have been cooked. in the oven. And I am going to reduce the heat to low and cover it and set my timer to 20 minutes. So that's cooking while we're doing this. So I'm making 2 Mexican pizzas. You can always do more, and if you want to make 3 or 4, whatever you want to do, you just cook that many more tortillas in the oven. I've also done it where I've used really large tortillas, and those kind of overlap on my baking sheet, and that's fine, but they make really big ones. So depends on what size you want, what size your family is. It's all going to taste the same. It's just like ordering a medium pizza versus a large pizza. This would be like a medium. All right, and then you are going to put your ground beef next. So like I said, this is my leftovers, so I just heated this up in the microwave, and then I'm going to just sprinkle it around. So if you've ever had a Mexican pizza at Taco Bell, this is basically what that is, but a homemade version. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, just spread it around. So no one's gonna see the inside because we're about to cover it here in a second. I do want to use all of my ground beef because this is the leftovers, so I'm just gonna finish it off here. All right, once that step is done, I'm going to put some cheese on top. I love cheese, so I'm gonna put more cheese. If you don't like that much, then, or you're being a little healthier, then don't put as much, but I like cheese. So it's going on there, on both. Rice is doing good on simmer. Use whatever kind of cheese you want. I just prefer this. Okay, now you're gonna take your other 2 that you cooked and put them on top. And then you're going to get your enchilada sauce. Again, I'll have a picture of the kind that I use. This is just red sauce. I had about a large can last time, so I have a bunch of left over. And you're just going to spoon it onto the top and then spread it around. Just covering it all. Like that on both, and then I'm going to put more cheese. Excuse me, that was my sneeze. Okay, then I'm going to put cheese. And then for the toppings, you can really put whatever you want. This recipe, I'm doing tomatoes and green onion, and you can put black olives if you want. I just don't prefer black olives on this, so I don't put it, but you're more than welcome to do that. And when I get this out, my dogs think that they also get a serving of cheese, because I always give it to them, so they get their little serving on the floor. And they clean it up nicely. And then, again, my toppings, I'm going to take some tomato, just spread it out, just like you put pepperoni on a pizza. These are our toppings for our Mexican pizza. And I already diced those up, but you know, it doesn't take that long to dice up a tomato. This was just a regular sized tomato. And then the green onion. I really like the green onion. I feel like this makes it kind of pop with a little bit more flavor. Are you going to be helpers? You're a good helper. And then once you have your green onions or whatever toppings on that you want, you just pop it back in the oven for 5 minutes so that the cheese melts and it all heats together nicely. And we're gonna do that. Excuse me, too. So I just put it back onto the pan carefully so I don't destroy what I just made. So when you use a larger tortilla, you probably just want to do one at a time because they will overlap. The picture I'll be posting are of a larger one, and you'll see how they overlap. But it can be done, whatever you want to do. All right, so that's at 375, and that is going in the oven for 5 minutes. Excuse me, sir. Thank you. All right, so that is on for 5 minutes, and I'm just gonna keep track on the timer that's already on. And then I was gonna tell you guys how I normally do the ground beef. Since that was already made, I didn't get to show you that step. I'll use a pan like this, or the one that's a little bit bigger. I take my ground beef, I throw it in there with nothing else, no oil, I just throw it in. I use this, if you don't have one of these, I got this for $3 at Menards. Game changer. It mashes up your ground beef super fast, and I use, now in my other video I talked about I buy off-brand for almost everything, and I do, as you saw, off-brand, 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 all of these. Every single thing over here is off-brand. This came with a spice rack, so I don't know what brand it is. But this one I will not get the off-brand. I will get this kind every single time, and I use this like almost on 90% of the things I cook. I use Lawry's seasoned salt. So I will put my ground beef in. I will season it with this, Lawry's seasoned salt, onion powder, garlic powder. That's all I use on my ground beef, and it's I season it to taste. I'll take a little tiny piece out, and if it's good, then I'm good. If it's not, I add more. But this is what really makes it good. Again, a generous amount. I don't skip out on the seasoning. So while that's cooking, this will be ready in 13 minutes, and this is going to be ready in about 3 minutes. And usually what I do while I'm waiting is I clean everything up, and then it'll just be ready to serve. But we'll just see how it's looking in here. You can see the cheese is melting, and it's looking good. And then I use a pizza cutter, because it's Mexican pizza, right? Pizza cutter will cut it all up, and we will be good to go. So, I have pictures of my rice on my rice recipe already, so you know how that looks. And I'm gonna have a picture of how this turns out as well. And the recipe will be posted with this. I hope you guys enjoy it. It's super simple and quick. It was really fast because I used my leftovers, but the only step that I didn't do here is open up a can of refried beans and cook the ground beef. The ground beef usually cooks really quick in about 6 minutes. So really, I only added like 6 minutes to this recipe that's not on here. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I hope it was helpful. Leave me a comment if you tried it and if you liked it. Other than that, I will post pictures of the finished product, and you've already seen a picture of the finished product on the rice. So enjoy, guys. Bye.